Good morning, folks. It's Greg Judy, Green Pastures Farm. It's a beautiful August morning. We're looking at August 15th. And I wanted to show you what we're bringing the cows out of. I just saw something this morning. This is a reason you want to move your cattle. Right there. Okay, we still have flies. Tree swallows are right there working for us. There's a whole bunch of them on that line. But to handle that kind of fly load, you need about 10,000 tree swallows. We might have, I don't know, a couple hundred here. But that's why you want to move your cows, is the flies. But, by the way, that is a beautiful manure pile. Love it. It's got the double little pond in it. Whew, that's a beaut. You know, if I take my foot, I'm gonna mess up these flies today a little bit. See what those flies are doing? They're laying eggs in there. And that's why you want to move your cattle. See the consistency of that? Pumpkin pie filling. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. But the flies are attracted to the manure. And so if you're moving your cows forward, you're not subjected as many flies. The flies tend to stay within 100 yards of where they were hatched, which they're hatching out of those manure piles. So that's why we're moving them. They're only here about 9. Well, we put them in here at 5 o'clock last night. It's 7:30 this morning, so 12 hours, a little over 12. But they filled up last night. They were in here. We put them in here, this giant ragweed, you couldn't see them. And this morning, most of these weeds have been stripped. There's a few that haven't been. But see, they've just taken all the tops off. And they're even working on the sides quite a bit. So we didn't brush hog this paddock. And the reason I didn't, I knew this giant ragweed was some very high quality feed. And you can see they kind of munched at the grass underneath it a little bit. And folks, this is winter stockpile. This fescue will be grazed, and it's going to be high quality feed, but it's going to be grazed. Well, we won't be back here for 60 days. So it's going to be allowed to grow basically, without any pressure put on it for 60 days. You see the spider web. It still amazes me. How in the world do they do that? Isn't that amazing? I mean, if you gave me a piece of webbing, I don't think I could make that. Especially being fastened to two little pieces of, that plant there is actually an old fescue plant. Look at that. And then he put just a nice little tethering on that on both sides. And any unfortunate insect that flies into that, he's in trouble. The boys are getting ready to move them, so they've already found all the babies. And Isaac's over there on the four-wheeler. He's going to grab the reel. And we're going to block him out of this bottom. They're going up on the hill today. We have a cattle drive scheduled on Thursday morning. Going to Judy Farm. But yeah, they got a lot of feed. They took a lot of feed out of here, especially the giant ragweed. I love it. So I'm not gonna come in here and brush hog this, even though it looks kind of unsightly, and it's right here by the highway. There's still a lot of leaves on here, and so if we come back here in 60 days, we'll see. There may still be some of these green, and these plants may regrow some of the leaves back, and we'll have another grazing of high quality feed. So that's where we're at. And we're getting enough moisture. I'm not worried about the weeds competing with moisture. But Grandma had her calf. It's a bull calf. And she's just such a good mother. We walked her down to the paddock yesterday. The calf is so gangly, and Grandma's teats are so low that as a little guy, he had trouble at first getting down that low to suck on. He's a good-sized calf, but he's doing 100% now, and she never ever, left that calf alone. So, such a good mama. You like cows that are good mamas. But look what they did to this paddock. I mean, Steve and I came here last night to move them. I gave the boys off. It was all weekend, and we couldn't hardly walk through here, rolling this reel up last night. There was a wire going across from that tree straight back behind me, and you couldn't hardly walk through here. But they trampled. Man, did they trample. So a lot of this forage will become organic matter, and a lot of it will spring back up. And we have trapped a ton of moisture. You can see right here's a real clover rich spot. They grazed that really hard right there. There's a nice clump of orchard grass. It seems like they went after the orchard grass, the giant ragweed, and the clover, and just kind of barely touched the tips of the fescue. But I promise you this winter, when we get done with this field, we'll be leaving about 2 to 3 inches of residue. But right now we've got, well, there's 2 foot. Some of this that they didn't graze is 2 foot long. Oh, they're so happy they're going into a new paddock over there. Yep, there goes the last of them. The walnut trees, these are the walnut trees that I put cages around. About 7 years ago in the spring I came in here and they were about 3 inches tall. Squirrels had planted a nut, and they've grown ever since. I tell you what, it's good to have young men that think. Look at that. I was wondering what Isaac was doing. He's like, he sees things and he just knows what to do. He's moving that wire on the other side of that wood chip pile. We got some wood chips delivered from the utility, and Isaac remembered that, and he knows what those cows will do to that if they have access to it. They'll get up on there and they just stomp the heck out of it, spread it all out, and then for us to use it, we'll have to be out with a rake trying to rake it up. So he's moving it over. It's just nice to have thinking young men. And Connor, he saw, oh, here comes the calf right here. He was out there laying down that giant ragweed. Taking a nap. Boy, this is just a forest of forage. Some people say it's a forest of weeds. Well, it is. It's giant ragweed. But it's also some of the best palatable forage you can have in the fall. So I'm glad to have it. And this is, of course, where we wintered cattle last year. This is one of the paddocks. And anywhere you winter cattle, if you get any kind of rain or something and just a little bit of pugging, you will get some giant ragweed. I would a lot rather have this than cockleburs, because cockleburs, they don't eat very well. And giant ragweed, well, you can just look across the tops out here. They've nailed it. I don't think there's a plant out here that went unscathed. And some of them are more sweeter than others, and they just stripped the whole plant. They took all the leaves off of them. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and sign off of here, and just going to give a plug for the grazing conference that's coming up in Tennessee. And it's going to be in September. And it's called the 2021 Regenerative Ag Summit. It's September 22nd through the 24th. That's going to be held in Greenville, Tennessee. And there's going to be several speakers, 8 total. There's Mr. Williams, Dr. Williams, Russ Wilson, Teddy Gentry, which is the founder of the South Pole breed, Greg Brand, Kelsey Keener, which is a producer there in Tennessee, does a lot of direct marketing. I think he's going to be talking on that, and of course myself. And that's going to be held at Greenville, Tennessee. And so you can go to usaregenalliance.org and find out how to get signed up for that conference. Again, it's September 22nd through the 24th. It's going to be a good one, and hope to see some of you all there. And I'll put a little plug at the end of my descriptions for that website that you can go to sign up. I think you better get on it because it's going to fill up, and you might miss out on a really good group of speakers that are going to be sharing a lot of what they know with you. And folks, it's all about knowledge and learning. Don't ever be satisfied with thinking that you know everything, because you don't, and I don't. I mean, every day I learn a little something, and a lot of times I learn it out here on the land. I learn it from reading, going to conferences. You know, I went to that conference in well, it was last week in Illinois at Mount Vernon. It was a good conference. You know, there was a lot of good people there, and the attendees, just the meeting the people that are there. I think that's one of the highlights of every conference I go to. You just meet some really neat people that are doing similar things to what you're doing, and it's really nice to bounce questions off of each other and make those contacts, folks. This business is all about making contacts and keeping those contacts alive. And if you just stay out on the farm all the time and you don't get out and meet people, it's just tough, you know, and it's not good. It's not good on you. It's not good on your business. And you need to be out there. And if you're not, you're going to fall behind in knowledge, and it just kind of stokes your engine up, you know, to get away. And I know every time I come back from a conference, it's like, I learned that, and I write it down, you know, and that's something that I put in my toolbox, and I remember that. So it's just an awesome, you know, 8 to 10 minds that have been doing this for a long time all together in one spot. That's worth the admission right there. So anyway, I'll get off that, and hope to see you all there in Tennessee on September 22nd through the 24th. And check out my description. I'll have a link to that website where you can sign up. Anyway, y'all take care, and we're going to get going here, and y'all have a great day.